Well, hello and welcome to Old People This Week. I'm Jeff, and that handsome gentleman there, he's wanted in 5 states, from Bozeman, Montana, and all points west. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike. Good afternoon, Mike.
They'll never find me. Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know where you're at. So do the process servers, by the way.
Yeah.
We are your hosts. Old People This Week is meant for people who are 60 and over. So if you're under 60, you can go back to lip syncing on TikTok.
Nope.
Nope, that's going away. We're going to have to lip sync somewhere else. Old People This Week is for active, mentally spry people. If all you want to talk about is the pain in your knees or your moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, then this podcast probably isn't for you. No, this podcast is for active and spry people of age. Mike and I will not talk over you or around you. We're going to talk to you about the things that interest us as a group, like Taylor Swift, Baby Reindeer on Netflix, which is truly odd series. And what to say to your wife when she suddenly announces that she's not going to shave her legs anymore.
That I'm dying to hear.
No, you're not. So please subscribe. As I told you before, Mike will come to your house with a casserole. It may not be any good, but it will be a casserole.
It'll be delicious. So you pay my first class airfare and book me into the hotel of my choice in your fair city. And I will come to your house. In addition to bringing a casserole, I will perform a menial task that you might have left ungone for many days.
It's good to know. Now, Mike, the people who subscribe to our podcast aren't from big cities. You're going to be flying into odd little hamlets.
Pacoima.
A shout out to some new subscribers, a guy named Dwight, PA, a woman by the name of Linda N. And we even got a comment this past week from a subscriber by the name of Mary, Minnesota, which is an interesting name.
Wow.
She just said 2 words, great episode. So thank you, Mary.
A woman of great taste.
Yes, absolutely. And please send us an email to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. We need the content. Send a video, send your comments about Mike's shirt, send anything you like. Any question you have, we will answer. Yes, Mike, that's a handsome shirt.
It's a handsome shirt. It's one of 3 shirts I own that is not a golf shirt.
Oh,
So,
well, you should be wearing your golf shirts every week then.
yeah.
And follow us on our Substack, which is 52tasks.substack.com. Last week I talked about the passing of our dog Bodhi in a Substack titled Vaya con Dios. And this week we talk about some of the stupid ass things that men do, which, by the way, there's no shortage of, as you know from following this podcast.
Especially if you're from Florida.
Yeah, especially if you're from Florida.
Yeah.
There they make a living out of it. So we're going to start this podcast off. I'm already pissed off.
How could I tell?
Yeah. It's about Chris Pratt. You know who Chris Pratt is?
Yeah, the actor.
Actor.
Yeah, I know the position of esteem you hold most actors in.
He's not a thespian.
No, he's dating Schwarzenegger's daughter, isn't he?
They're married, have kids.
Yeah.
They're married, have kids, and and that's the subject of my rant sort of today. Mr. Pratt, who, yes, is an actor, and he's actually, in what he does as an action star, he's great. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Jurassic Park franchises. He's great.
Yeah.
But in real life, he's sort of a kook. He's sort of a crazy super Catholic, like Mel Gibson is. The guys that want to take the Catholic Church back 150 years. I know this because I follow him a little bit, and he actually goes to the church that I go to. He was married there. And Catherine Schwarzenegger, is the daughter of course, Arnold and Maria Shriver, and she had the good sense to keep her last name when she got married. But they have too much money. They don't know what to do with it all. They have the Schwarzenegger money, the Shriver money, the Kennedy money. They have the Pratt money. They have so much money. They're just rolling in it. They evidently live in a $32 million mansion in Pacific Palisades, which in Los Angeles is perched over the ocean, a brilliant, beautiful place to live. But that wasn't enough.
No, $32 million. That's a teardown in L.A.
They had to get something else while they were working on the house in the Palisades. So they went and they bought first and demolished a historic Brentwood home.
Was it classified as a historical home or just one that should never have been demolished?
Both. It was designed by the famed architect Craig Elwood and was locally known as the Zimmerman House after its original owners. It was commissioned in 1949 and originally stood as a single-story, 5-bedroom, 2,700 square foot, mid-century modern home that is nowadays worth $12.5 million. Now,
wow.
These homes, the way that the preservation works out in California and Los Angeles specifically is it's difficult to protect these homes, but it's sad to see them go too. And in this case, the owner of it did a private sale to Pratt and to Schwarzenegger, and in short order, before the preservationists, before the people who wanted to save the home could do anything about it, Pratt had it torn down, which caused an uproar out here.
Yeah, we see that every once in a while, and it's too damn bad because those mid-century modern houses are very cool.
They're just cool.
Yeah.
They're cool, and it's cool to save the past, not rip it down. They could have bought it. I don't care if they own it. Just so they could have kept it and fixed it up. Instead, what they're going to build is what's called a modern farmhouse.
Just what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see Architectural Digest or not, if you just watch these home shows nowadays, you see what they look like. They sort of look like what a farmhouse might look like with big windows, big barn doors, and swimming pools and the whole nine to make them sort of cool and special and all celebrity based. And this thing will be in Architectural Digest magazine a year from now with Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger standing happily in the living room with their kids frolicking around them as they put that other home, the Zimmerman home, in the dust. So that just pissed me off.
Just what we all aspire to, live in a barn.
Yeah. It's going to probably cost them $30 million to construct this barn. But what really pisses me off, what got to me, is not that it's Pratt, not that it's Schwarzenegger, not the farmhouse even, not the whole thing got to me is the way that how rich some people are and what they do with their money. They just don't know what to do with it. They just throw it around. Now the home is across the street from Maria Shriver's house, this one they tore down. So the idea was that they were moving to be closer to her mom, but still.
Yeah. You have to tear down the house across the street from her to let her know you're there.
Yeah.
Come on.
So if I see one of those two in church at some point, I'm going to give both of them the shit eye. And
that'll send him trembling to the back.
Arnold doesn't show up anymore because he was unceremoniously thrown out of the house by Maria when it was found out that he had been dallying around with one of the either the housekeeper or a nanny or someone and had a child. Didn't bother to tell Maria about it, and paid some child care for this kid for years and years and years. Now he's a grown man, and came out to the wife, and Maria said, "See you, Arnold."
Yeah, adios.
Adios. Hasta la viga, baby. He's gone, and he's not around anymore. But he hasn't remarried, I noticed, so he must still be pining away from Maria.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the writer of this article about this said, and this will wrap this up. He said succinctly, Pratt has more money than taste.
Apparently. Yeah. Come on.
All right. So let's talk about something a little more happier, which is our how much we both love Taylor Swift, and she this week she dropped, or this past 10 days ago, she dropped a new album, The Tortured Poets Department, 31 songs. I don't understand, by the way, how this woman has time to write or record music when she's literally touring around the world. And then if she's not touring, she's flying to see football games and the Super Bowl and hanging out with her boyfriend Travis Kelsey. And so I don't know where she has time to do it, but she dropped 31 new songs and people are going crazy.
Well, if you have a $70 million private jet, you can get around and do a few things on short notice.
Is that right? She has a $70 million jet of her own?
Yeah.
Well, I trust her, though. She's not the kind who's going to go buy an old house, the Zimmerman house, and rip it down just to...
No, I think she's pretty cool. I mean, I've loved her evolution as an artist. I mean, I remember seeing her back in Nashville. We were at the CMAs one year when she first came out, and she was as genuine as could possibly be, humble, and her mom and dad were with her, and it seems like she's never lost that humility. And now she's like the world's mega star. But it's cool.
Where does she live, anyways? I mean, where is she?
She must have several homes. I know she has. She just bought a big house somewhere. I know she has a home in near the compound where the Bushes back east. What was the compound they had?
Kenny Buckport.
Yeah, Kenny Buckport. Yeah, she has a. Yeah, I think she has a house there, or she leased a house or something. But yeah, she's got multiple homes.
Well, she probably has a home in Nashville too. You would think, like a lot of
I would think.
Former country stars. Well, I can top you with I saw Taylor Swift story. In the mid 2000s, like 2006, 7 in there, maybe 8. I was working for E, which is owned by Comcast, and Comcast is a big company, probably 150,000 employees or more if you count nowadays Universal and NBC. But in those days they didn't have those two, but they were still a big company, and they held a giant executive get-together down in Houston. They flew all of us down there, got to the hotel. We walked in the hotel room. There's a big leather bag, and it had cowboy boots in there and a cowboy hat. I looked pretty dapper in my cowboy hat. And they had speakers. They had Oprah. They had Jamie Dimon. They had Colin Powell.
Wow.
But as the entertainment, we went to a rodeo place, and they had a buffet of food that country folk eat that they wasn't used to.
Brisket.
A lot of pig and stuff going on. And the entertainment was a 16-year-old Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
That dressed up as a cowgirl. I mean, she was a total country western. Star. She was a country girl then with a cowboy hat on, a little cow dress, that she looked great, and she's performed great. And everybody stood and kind of, wondered about this little girl. I mean, she was very young.
Yeah. No, she was a big deal when she hit country. She was a big deal, and then when she made the transition into pop, it was like another big deal. Some of the country folks were wringing their hands, and the pop artists were going, "Wow, who's this?" And she has successfully managed to keep a foot in both worlds and do very well at it. So
yeah, I'd say she's successful at it. Holy cow! And evidently she's got a beef going with Kim Kardashian. There's a song on this. Of the 31 songs, only 3 letters that are capitalized are K-I-M, a direct reference to Ms. Kardashian. And then there's lyrics that are something like, all the time you were throwing punches, I was building something. I can't forgive the way you made me feel, screamed, F you, Amy, to the night sky as the blood was gushing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't remember what that beef was about though, but I remember hearing about it.
Well, I'm okay. She can, anything that puts Kim in her, slaps her back a little bit, and it's fine with me.
Yeah, with her fake furniture.
Hey, you were going to talk to me about this? What you said was the Swift fatigue, though.
Well, and it was a headline over the weekend in the New York Times. Taylor Swift has given fans a lot. Is it finally too much? and then Vanity Fair piled on. One of the critics at Vanity Fair said, quote, "It's almost like if you produce too much too fast in a brazen attempt to completely saturate and dominate a market, rather than having something important or even halfway interesting to say, the art suffers." Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
What, but Spotify, Spotify said it was the most streamed album in a single day ever, with more than 300 million streams.
Yeah.
So, Swifties will never be fatigued.
No.
People who probably don't get it never will. So,
It just passed the 1 billion stream mark on Spotify.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's doing fine. And by the way, I'm of the school that if it should be, she's not near reached her peak yet. The way that these things sell. So I don't care what the critics say, or that there's too much or there's too. She's fine.
She's going to be just fine.
She'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of artists, I have an update on John Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah, your buddy.
So John Bon Jovi hasn't been touring because I found out that one of his vocal cords had atrophied.
Oh dear, that's tough for a singer.
I hope that doesn't happen to Taylor Swift. You got to take care of those vocal cords. That's your living. He actually had said that when he found out that one of his vocal cords had atrophied, he actually thought, "Oh, if I go back on tour, maybe it'll help." So of course, it tore it up worse.
Yeah, not a good plan.
What's that?
Not a good plan.
No. So he got an implant inside inside of his larynx to bring the vocal cords together, which must have been a pleasant thing to have people operating on your throat. And maybe they could get rid of the.
Yeah. Well, my three
I
chins.
should call John Bon Jovi, see if he's a doctor, see if his guy can take care of this.
They couldn't even do the surgery on me because of my three chins. I just have to suffer. I just lose my voice.
They'd have to they'd have to start by taking away 2 of those chins and then just get in there to work. I don't have extra chins. It's just.
Well, you have that turkey dewlap.
No, it's not a turkey. It's not hanging there. It's like a cable. I tell you. Anyway, so he started speech therapy 4 days a week, which must be hell to do any kind of therapy 4 days a week. And he's ready to hit the road again with a new album. Before we get started on this next topic, which by the way is, can a marriage without sex be a happy one? By the way, you sent this to me, so I'm vitally suspicious of this.
Is that an oxymoron or what?
Yeah. I just wanted to point out that I got my my boomer mohawk today.
I can't believe you pay money for that. I can show you how to do that at home. Save you $40 a week that we can spend on martinis.
No, it's not a week. But the dude said, he always says, do you want to, they go by numbers, like you say, do you want 1, 2, 3, 4? This would be sort of a 4. But anyways, on the side, I said, he goes, do you want a half? I go, yeah. So this is what a half looks like. Just get in there, man.
Your sons must just look at that and scream.
My sons look at it. They don't look at it. They just laugh.
I love it.
You sent me this article here. Can a marriage without sex be happy? Cultural attitudes about the role sex plays in a marriage has evolved significantly over time. Where once marital sex was primarily for bearing children, in recent decades, the conventional wisdom was that frequent sex was integral to a happy union. During the 90s, a new wave of sex positivity coincided with the ascendancies of different forms of therapy, including couples counseling. Experts coached couples on how to strengthen their relationships, blah, blah, blah. By the 2010s, appointment sex had become one popular method. At any rate, all of this, by the way, they found now it doesn't work. It's just like foods are healthy and what aren't, and it changes constantly. Well, this attitude towards what makes a healthy marriage has changed as well. It says that in recent years, both relationship experts and couples themselves have been dismantling some of these commonly held views, working to destigmatize the unconventional approaches that some take to stay together. Online groups have sprung up for couples who challenge basic assumptions that spouses should share one bedroom or even a home. I keep telling my wife, we don't need to share this home.
Yeah, you better look over your shoulder right now.
Probably outside this door listening right now.
He comes creeping in.
Take off, fool. Go to your own home. She wouldn't mind just staying with the dog, by the way.
And I go through stages where apparently I snore a lot. So Mary will suggest that I go to the guest room for the rest of the evening or whatever, and stuff like that. So
By suggest you mean you get a foot in the middle of your back.
Yeah. And I can't repeat the language, but it's basically adios. Go to another room.
So I was reading about another part of that article about the modern sex was that there's a thing now called a polycule, which is an intricate structure formed of people who with overlapping deep attachments, romantic, sexual, sensual, platonic. And they had a woman on there whose name is Katie, and she described her polycule as large, with 20 people or more, from their mid-20s to mid-40s, including males who identify as heteroflexible and heterosexual and bisexual, and there's a non-binary person, a group of people, I'm not sure if they live together, but they form a polycule in which they gather and they share this intimacy together.
Can I run screaming from the room right now?
In my day, it was called Plato's Retreat.
Yeah, or a cult.
I don't think it's a cult. I just think it's they're looking for something, and polycule is what they found. Well, whatever.
Yeah, God bless them.
Moving on from polycules, your wife, besides booting you from bed, she often comes up with ideas for the podcast, and she said we should be talking about the Los Angeles-based company's this liquid death.
Oh, she's over the moon about this.
Yeah, what do you mean over the moon? Does she drink it all day?
Well, she's tried it. She brought it home to make sure I tried it as well. But she's in marketing and branding, and she sees phenomena like this where, by virtue of the name of the product and the artwork on the label and the particular chord it strikes with a certain segment of the population, your favorite, by the way, people 25 and under, she loves that kind of stuff. So, yeah, she's been telling me about this for several days now.
Yeah, well, I read. I mean, it said you ask any 14 to 25-year-old what this is, they'll know.
Yeah,
It's a brand lock on Gen Z that is making the CPG world go gaga about this original take on water. I mean, it's water.
It's water.
In the most recent round of investment, it now values the company an impressive $1.4 billion. It's basically promoting a healthy lifestyle and doing right by our planet. Hey, you know what? We did right by our planet in the old days by drinking out of the spigot
Yeah.
in the kitchen or drinking out of the, outside on the water hose. We didn't have. So how is it doing? What? So you're spending money and you're still getting some kind of container. It comes in it comes in like
It's a can. Yeah, it's a can.
It is a can. We'll have a picture of it here with this edgy design featuring a melting skull on a tall boy size can and creative niche celebrity brand tie-ins that added to the company's street cred. And the brand quickly garnered lots of attention across social media. It's 5 million followers. Well, I shouldn't be making fun of it. It's got 5 million followers.
Yeah.
On TikTok, and 3 million followers on Instagram make Liquid Death among the most popular beverage brands across the entire social media landscape.
No, I went to the market here the other day, the big Coachella Music Festival. The last 2 weekends just wrapped up here in our area. And I went to the market, and they've got Liquid Death stacked up by the case in the aisles in the local market for that particular clientele who are going to the concert. I mean, it's a deal.
Well, I'm going to try some of it and see if it tastes better than the tap water that I stick my head under the sink and forward. My wife starts screaming at me. They have a part of this branding. It's since its initial launch in 2019, hundreds of thousands of aficionados have opted to "quote unquote" sell their souls to the Liquid Death Country Club, an exclusive membership benefits program that offers access to unique merch, live events, and other bespoke entertainment engagements. Now, I don't know what bespoke engagements are, but they know how to brand this thing, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is. It's a phenomenon.
And your wife noted, by the way, in a note that she sent along, aside from striking a chord with the sober curious.
I am not curious about that, by the way. Sobriety holds no interest.
Sober curious. She went on to say, I was struck by the notion that rockers are drinking it on stage so that it looks like they might be drinking alcohol when they are really drinking water. Oh,
Water.
those devils. Mick Jagger and those people, they weren't on stage drinking, like faking it that they were drinking water instead of alcohol. They were drinking alcohol. That's not the branding product that's got me pissed off this week, though.
I thought you were pissed off about a demolished house. Now you're pissed off about something else.
Oh, yeah, because when you see this picture, you'll be pissed off, too. Here's the story. Pringles has teamed up with Crocs for an ankle holster for your potato chips.
Really? Just what I want to do is put my potato chips around my sweaty ankles.
It's like they think if I saw somebody like that, I think I'd probably kick them in the leg, kick them in the Pringle.
Kick them in the Pringles.
So it's not like a full can of Pringles, which are about this big. It looks like it's about half size, and then it has a strap and it goes around your ankle, so that when you're walking down the street and you get a sudden urge to have a Pringle, you just reach over, grab one.
Here's what worries me. You have executives in the marketing department of both of these companies. And what process under God's name could possibly have prompted either one of them to say, hey, let's go to Crocs and put potato chips on their shoes, or have anybody at Crocs go, why don't we tie in with a company so we can put food on our shoes?
Food on our shoes.
Come on.
Well, you have Crocs. I know not. You're going to want this Pringles thing for Christmas.
I love Crocs, by the way. I wear Crocs. They're comfortable as hell. But I'm not going to put my food on them.
You wear them. I know when you wear Crocs. You wear them once a week when you do what?
Wash my car.
That's right. I know that every trick that you watch. Those Crocs are not seen outside of your driveway.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. And for our final story this week, it's called the Goofy Goof Up. I love this story. According to a lawsuit filed by Katrina Amian Redfern, she was at Disneyland in April of 22 with her family, and she, innocently enough, bent over to tie her daughter's shoe. So she's in sort of a vulnerable position, bent over, and suddenly a park employee who's dressed as Goofy barreled into her, knocked her for a loop, fell on top of her, as she put it, driving her into the hard cement floor, where she suffered severe, traumatic, debilitating physical injuries, along with emotional pain and suffering.
I can imagine.
Evidently, Goofy must have been goofing off or running or something, and he smashed into her. I read a story at one time about what goes on backstage at Disney with those characters.
Oh, it's got to be a fascinating story.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Like one of the stories was that back in the early days of Disneyland, Tinkerbell used to have they used to at the when things got dark before they light the fireworks, they would shine a spotlight up to the top of the Matterhorn, and an actress basically dressed up as Tinkerbell would come down on a wire across with her arms out and wings out, and people would go crazy. And they had her, it was the same woman had done it for years. She was strapped in somehow, and she was coming down until somebody took a shot at her. And then and the other story is that they had, this was one of the stories from one of these people who used to dress up as a character. They always sent out the big bad wolf with the three little pigs, because the three little pigs had little arms on the top of them. They didn't have big arms, so they couldn't protect themselves from the children, and the children would come up and start hitting on them and throwing shit at them and whatever. So the big bad wolf was always sent around with them to keep the kids.
Scare the little kids.
Yeah, scare the kids away. So it is not a fun job to be one of those characters. So the guy inside Goofy, who knows? Maybe he flipped out. Maybe he was at the end of a long day. He's inside that thing. He's sweating his ass off. He wants to go home, have a beer, and all of a sudden he starts maybe running. Maybe they have a way of telling you when it's time your shift is over. He started bolting back to wherever the Goofies go, and he rammed into this poor Katrina, Amy, and Redfern, and now there's been a lawsuit filed.
I wonder what she said to her insurance company. I was mowed down by Goofy.
Mowed down by Goofy. They're happy as hell.
Oh yeah, Disney. Let's go.
All right. On that note, we will say adios, amigo. I will see you soon, maybe at happy hour. To all of you, please remember to subscribe, and you'll get a free casserole and some yard work from Mike. Go on to and check out our tasks this week on 52tasks.substack.com. And other than that, and send us an email.
Send us an email.
This week at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, answer your questions, and give you any romantic advice that you need, because we know everything.
And haircut advice. I'm transfixed by that.
I'll send it to my guy, and he'll ask you if you want a 1/2 or a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
You say a half, and this is what it comes out.
In the military, they call that high and tight.
All right, Mike. Adios.
Adios, Jeff. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.